think it's still morning. I don't even know what time zone I'm in. I flew in last night from Vegas, and I live in Austin, Texas, and so I'm very, very confused lately. But thank you guys for having me here. I'm super excited to be here. Always an honor. This is my 6th rally, and so saving the best for last, right? I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a few things. So people ask me all the time about my story. They always ask me about production, and they always ask me about attraction. So I thought I would just combine it all together, if that's okay with y'all, and we can talk a little bit about each. Yes? Yes. Okay. Cool. So one of the things Leo really talks about is opportunity, and that's what I love about him being our new CEO. He sees the opportunity in pretty much any solution or any opportunity, and I'm the same way as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So opportunity cost is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. And I want to start off with that because I want you guys to be thinking about that while I'm talking through my presentation with you today, because we really have a huge opportunity. And how many of y'all are excited about the market right now? Yeah, that's what I want to hear, because I'm super, super excited. We are so well positioned right now. I've been in the business almost 19 years, and I've gone through some ups and downs just like many of you, but you just took it away from me.
Oh, put it on the chair.
Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. So I'm really excited to share with you all today. So just a little bit about me and my story. I've been in the business 19 years. I got licensed in Atlanta, Georgia. My husband and I were investors, and my CPA told me one of us had to get our license. And my husband looked at me and said, "That's you," because he had the corporate job, he had the stability, he had the benefits, and I really didn't have a choice. And so I went kicking and screaming into real estate and realized quickly, I get to work with people I know that I like. This is actually kind of fun. And I built my business in Atlanta, not really knowing anybody, but just working with people and having them work with me on a referral basis. So in 2008, how many of y'all were in business in 2008? Yeah, that was a rocky one, yeah? We were transferred to Austin, Texas, and I knew nobody. I have 4 children. At the time I had one 18-month-old, and I knew nobody. And so when I would get there, I had to meet people, not only for me and my kids and my family, but also I was getting my license in a new state, and I needed to meet people for business. The panel that was just on stage just gave me such anxiety. I was like, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing. But what I love is that we can all be successful in different ways, and there's not one way, you don't have to check the box and fit in the box. So if you tell me to knock on doors or a cold call, I'm going to run and hide. But when I moved to Texas, we had 44 townhomes, and I had to meet people. And so I went and I knocked on the door with my little one, every single door, not to get the business or ask for business, but to earn the relationship. So I knocked on the door. "Hi, I'm Elizabeth. This is my son, Tripp. We just moved here from Atlanta, Georgia. We just wanted to meet our neighbors." And so a conversation starts there. And everybody wants to know, well, why'd you move here? What are you doing? And I would tell them, I'm getting my real estate license. I've been a licensed agent in Georgia. And they'd look at me like I had 3 heads. Yeah. Are you crazy? Do you know what the market? It's a horrible market. And I was like, well, maybe. Where I came from, it was a horrible market. I was in Atlanta doing short sales and foreclosures. So when I came to Austin, it was a better market. It was opportunity. So for me, it was an aha moment, because there's a lot of people with their heads in the sand, and we're seeing that right now. And that's where our opportunity is, because we can rise to the occasion, and we can serve our clients, and we can take market share. So fast forward, I was at Keller Williams, by the way, for Atlanta and also Texas. They were the only ones who would take a part-time agent at the time. So in Texas, I grew my business. In 2014, we had 650 agents in my market center, and I was number 1. And I went home that day and I told my husband I was getting out of the business. And he said, you made it, you're on top. And I said, no, I'm on a hamster wheel. I am only as good as my next transaction. We talk about God, family, and business, and it's all business. And I have my 4 kids and my husband traveled internationally all the time. I was like, this is not what our life was supposed to be. We are unfulfilled, and I don't want to continue doing this. I'm losing the time with my kids, and I'm working for no reason. I'm working for my family, but I'm not getting to enjoy my family, right? So he said, well, go to another company. I was like, no, that's a lateral move. He said, start your own brokerage. Absolutely not. So I strongly believe people join people, and my whole Atlanta crew had gone to a company called EXP Realty. And they said, hey, we could work together. You're in 2 states. We could do these things together, and we can collaborate. Would you be willing to meet with somebody? And I don't know about y'all, but some people in my life, I don't care who they are, I'm not gonna ask questions. Yes, absolutely, I'll meet with somebody. And so Glenn Sanford came into town. And it's funny because people are like, oh my gosh, Glenn came to meet with you? I was like, time out. Glenn's company had 400 agents at the time. My market center had 650. So I met with Glenn, and I tell the story, and I tell him, I was like, Glenn, I love you, but you're such a nerd. I mean, the first time we met, you're showing me this world with avatars, and I'm like, I don't get this. And he talked to me about rev share, and I said, I'm not interested in rev share. And he said, why not? You've got a great number of people at KW. I said, yeah, they followed me, and I feel like I have an obligation, and KW is letting them down, and so I've created another job. So I'm not interested in rev share. He said, what are you interested in? I said, well, you're talking about stock. You're talking about we're the Amazon.com of real estate. Tell me about that. Because if I knew about Amazon.com when they were selling books online and we all thought they were crazy, I think we'd all be sitting in a different situation right now, right? So he started talking about stock in the Icon program, and I was a top producer, and I said, I like that. I want to be an icon. So I was the first icon named at EXP. I'm the only one with 9 right now. I'll stay ahead of that, I hope, because it's super amazing, it's life-changing. But I came to the company for the Icon program and for the stock. And because I was on an island and I was drowning and I wasn't having fun and I wasn't collaborating, I was competing. So all of a sudden I come to EXP, my first full year, we had 2,000 agents, I was number 1. My second full year, we had 5,000 agents, I was number 1. And I had to look around and say, what's different? I'm still the same me, doing the same things, but I'm collaborating differently. One of the first people I ever met at this company is David Harbour, right? And David reported me from Virginia. Like, we hadn't even met face to face. So when you start collaborating with big people around the country, you can change your business in a big way. So I believe in taking chances and opportunities, but I didn't know what I didn't know. So I decided to seek wise counsel. And I went to my Georgia team leader and I told him what I wanted to do, and he told me I was crazy. It's like, okay, thank you for your feedback. And I went to my Austin team leader, and he said, this is interesting, let's look at that. We looked at it for 5 months. I did not go to him to recruit him. That was not in my plan, or that was not my intention. I just truly needed to understand what I didn't know and ask the right questions. And he said one day, okay, I'm gonna do this with you. Okay, let's do this. And that was Gene Frederick. So the opportunity is, you never know who you're going to talk to. You never know who you're going to come into contact with. You never know who your opportunity is. So Gene and I had no idea what we were doing. I am Gene's sponsor, but we had 400 agents at the time. So we thought we'd maybe get to 1,000. But there was still an opportunity for getting back to the basics and really truly enjoying the business again and building something bigger than us and stock. And what if that happened, right? What if it could happen? I thought in my head, well, what if this doesn't work? I can go to any company and they want me, I'm a top producer. But what if it does work? What's the opportunity? How many lives can we change? How many businesses can we change? What are we not even realizing we can do by just making one decision or having just one more conversation? So that is my story about getting to EXP. It has changed my life completely. I'm agent 466, which usually is impressive, except when you have David Harbour in the room, who's number 50. But yeah, David, we love David. I love David. I don't know about y'all, but you guys can tell me the stories later. I am a 9-time icon. The 250 list that just came out, I'm super proud of, because I'm on the top 250 list for volume and also sites. So I think what's really great is we're telling our story in a bigger way. The industry's paying attention, and if you get really hyper-local and let people see what you're doing, there's a bigger opportunity, not only in production, but also on the attraction side. I have 73 people in my front line. I've never called one of them. Well, I call them now, but I didn't call them to recruit them, right? They all watched me. They all followed me. They all believed in me. They saw me doing something different, and they saw their lives different by being able to align with me and align with this company. Those 73 people have cascaded out to almost 12,000 people in my org. So, who do you need to talk to, whether it's your business or in the business, because people are gonna watch you and they wanna be a part of something bigger. So let's talk about the process of production. What do I do? Definitely it's not what these 3 guys did. I'm an individual agent. I have a self-organized team. What that means is we all market together. We all look like we're bigger in our market, but we're all individual producers, and we're just more of a referral group. So I have the Lux Property Group in Austin, Texas. So a few things I want to give you some pointers on what I wanted to share today. And James asked me to share some more specifics. I could not pull that together, but I can also tell you about it. If you want to see it later, I can send you guys examples. First of all, the power of 17. NAR statistics, which again, I don't want to quote NAR right now, but until I get a better source, we'll just quote NAR. 83% of agents are not staying in touch with their past clients. That is staggering to me. I am 100% referral. 2022 was my best year ever in the business. I did 37 million as an individual, 100% referral. Last year was down a little bit, but I started traveling a lot. And now, because it's not about income anymore, it's about impact for me. Now I give a lot of my business away to help others and lift others as I climb, okay? But all of that's referral based. If I didn't stay in touch with those clients, what opportunities am I missing out on? So 83% of the agents are not staying in touch with their past clients. So I want y'all to be the 17%. If you're doing nothing right now, it's not that hard. You just have to do something. I market to my clients every single month. Actually, I touch them up 3 times a month, but I just want you guys to think about 1 time a month. That's only 12 a year. It's super easy. And you don't have to spend a lot of time, money, or effort. $40,000 a month seems very, very overwhelming. To me, it is as well. I pay a couple $100s a month because I just really want to make an impact on the way to the trash can. But I want them to know and wonder what I'm going to do each month, and they're paying attention, and they open it up. Like when I send forget-me-not seeds and I put my business card on and I put it in an envelope and they're like, we're not opening this. I'm like, why not? Because we don't know what you're sending us, right? It's shaking, it's rattling. I was like, I know, that's what's fun, right? You've got them talking so that they're thinking about you every single time, and when they hear somebody talking about real estate, they're like, oh, you need to call my friend Elizabeth, okay? So I want you guys to think a little bit differently. The 3 C's are really important right now. I think social media is a crutch a lot of times, and we hide behind that, and I am super guilty of that. I'm very much an introvert, so I'll hide behind a lot of what I do, and I'm very passive. But social media is also obviously very much involved in our lives, and so use that for business and building relationships. So it's the 3 C's. Console, congratulate, and compliment. When you're going through Facebook, find 5 people a day. It's all about consistency. Find 5 people a day, 10 people a day, I don't care. And console, congratulate, or compliment them, right? Find some way to engage with them. Send them a note, a longer note than just a thumbs up or a smiley face or something like that. If somebody's dog dies, write them a note in Facebook, but then take it a step further and take them and write a handwritten note to them. And just say, I saw Bingo died, I'm so sorry. I know how hard it is to lose a pet. I'm just thinking about you, and I wanted to say, let you know that, right? Don't write in there, and if you're looking to sell or buy or invest in real estate, right? It's about building the relationship. You build that relationship, you're going to earn the business, right? I mean, I've got people true story, I got a $1.2 million listing from a seller because she called me and said, I want to meet you to list my home. I had no idea who she was. But her mother was Dorothy, and Dorothy lived, you remember that 44 homes I knocked on their doors? Dorothy was in that community, and she was being moved to a nursing home. I had been sending her consistent messages every single month, not just relying on social media, y'all, because 90-year-old Dorothy's not going to be on social media. You've got to understand that there's different touch points for different people, so you can't just rely on one avenue. So I would write notes every single month, and when I went to sit down with Janice, Dorothy's daughter, she said, where do I sign? I said, do you want to hear my pitch? She said, no, I just want to sign. I said, then she goes, do you want to know why I'm choosing you as my agent? Yes. You've written my mother consistently all the time. My mom would get letters and her face would light up every time you would send her something. And if you can make my mom feel that way, I know you're the right agent for me. Okay? $1.2 million listing. It's like, okay, let's do this, right? It's not hard. It's building that relationship. Dorothy, I hadn't seen Dorothy in years, but Dorothy saw and felt like she still saw me, and I made an impact, right? Okay? So find ways to get into a relationship with people. Be the mayor of your community. I want everybody to come to me for everything. I want them to ask me about my dentist. I want them to ask me about the newest restaurant. I don't care what it is, I want them to come to me. Be the mayor. If you're in a community where there's not a Facebook group or something like that, create one. Create those opportunities if they're not already there. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. I want everybody to come to me no matter what, and they do. Yeah, it's all these things I'm talking about is earning the relationship. I'm very relational in that regard. I don't want to cold call people. I don't want to knock on their door. Some of y'all are masters at that, and that's amazing, but I want to figure out other ways and find ways to supplement what you're already doing. And then do the work. I have agents that will say, well, you don't have to really work anymore. You just sit back and the business falls in your lap. I'm working. I'm doing it a little differently than other people might be, but I'm doing my business every single day. I'm reaching out to my clients, hey, it's been a while, I want to see if you'd grab coffee. Don't go to lunch. Lunches get long and they get expensive. So I had to change it to coffee and tea, and I can meet with more clients that way. But if you still reach out to them and they can't meet with you, it's still a touch. They're still seeing your name. You're still staying in touch with them and being engaged. So I always tell my kids, just go eat the frog first. Do the things you don't want to do in the morning. Do the hard things, right? You don't want to eat the frog, go eat the frog first, just get it out of your way, right? So it's all about the relationships, and it's about being consistent. If you're not doing anything consistently, the guys that were just talking about this, they're doing that postcard mailers every single month. And they're talking about doing this for 12 to 18 months. That is consistency at its finest. I send somebody something every month. So one of the examples that I get a really, really big response to is my $500 gift voucher. And it's on Canva. I like free. And I just create a $500 gift voucher. It could be $100, it can be $200, it doesn't matter what it is. But it's like, here's a $500 gift voucher. Compliments of Elizabeth Riley. No way. I'm over time. James, give me 5 minutes. Compliments of Elizabeth Riley, and transferable to family and friends. And I put that in the mail, and I mail it out to them with a handwritten note. People hold on to that. 2 weeks ago, I just closed a deal that was $2 million cash. My client had bought a house 4 years ago for $400,000 cash. And then she called me when she was moving. She's like, oh my gosh, I just found this voucher. Can I apply it to my closing? Yes. Process, I'll go through this really fast. Process of attraction. Where's James?
You got 10 minutes.
Oh, I love you. Thank you. Okay. This caffeine is like giving me a heart attack over here, and then time's limited. But, okay. Attraction is the same thing. Stay in curiosity. Okay? Ask questions. The person asking questions is the one who's going to control the conversation. How many times have you been into a situation where somebody's just talking and you don't even get a word in? It needs to be about them. I don't do EXP Explains. I know some people love them. I don't do it because if I'm standing up here and I'm talking to you about EXP, I can't understand what the pebble is in each of your shoes. You all have a different goal. You all have a different reason. You all have a different why. But I want to get kind of belly to belly. I want to understand what it is that we can do. We're not a fit for everybody, but I want to see what I can do to encourage you or enhance your business or enhance your life. And I can't do that if I'm just EXPing on people. Do not EXP on people. Okay? If you take anything from me today, please don't EXP on people. But ask the questions. Figure out the pebble in their shoe. When you figure out the pebble in their shoe, then you can figure out what we have to solve it, right? And I don't talk about EXP. People come to me and they talk to me about EXP. So ask a lot of questions, stay in curiosity. Create opportunities. If there isn't a reason to get together or collaborate or mastermind, create one. All the Austin agents, we have a top producer and an icon group that we're really, really tight. We're all in different lines. By the way, I don't care who's in whose line. EXP talks about their line all the time, and they'll come up to me, hi, can we talk? I'm in your line or I'm not in your line. I don't care, you're at EXP, we're all one family, right? So our top producers, we all get together and we're masterminding every week, and we're like, this is really awesome and this is really great information for new agents. I love new agents, but sometimes it can be a distraction where how do you open up a lockbox? Okay, that's another conversation. But we want to teach them, right? We want to lift them up. And so now we stream live our masterminds every single Tuesday consistently in the workplace group in Austin, so all the newer agents can learn from us. They can ask questions. We're engaged with them too, but we're still very focused high level. It's one of the most impactful calls our agents are now on every single week, and it was just something we organically were doing. AHA Clubs, agents helping agents, something I pulled together years ago where it just was the agents coming together to talk production. It wasn't about EXP, because we had the narrative out there that we just recruited. I was like, well, let's talk production. So I don't even say I'm Elizabeth Riley Lux Property Group with EXP, I just say Lux Property Group. So we created this, and we're bringing in different topics every single month consistently. I don't charge a lot for it, but I do charge $10 so that you have a little bit skin in the game. And I bring in a sponsor so they can feed the agents, because we all like to be fed. But what happens is all the agents are coming in and we're collaborating, and then they're bringing their friends, and their friends are saying, wait, my company doesn't do this. Why are you guys opening up your playbooks? We're all owners. We all win together. We all lift each other as we climb. So now it's become an attraction opportunity where most of the agents are not even EXP. They're seeing how much value. The one I did last month was on taxes and property protesting, right? Which I don't know if that's a big deal here, but in Texas it's a big deal. I had 75 people in that room. 90% of them were not EXP. They were people that were coming or seeing guests. The one we have next month is YouTube. Bring in experts from other areas. Don't ever put anybody that's not EXP on the stage though. So instead of telling people what we're about, show them. It's much more powerful. Okay? Again, earning the relationship, and share success stories. There's so many cool success stories from rookie all the way up. And when you're talking to somebody, figure out who you can align them with. Dan and Carrie are great because they'll say, hey, Elizabeth, I need you to talk to somebody. They already are close to the relationship, but you can bring in somebody that's not, and you can speak their language, and we can help each other grow or help their businesses. And love on your people. You're loving on your clients. Love on your people that you bring to the company. Make sure they know they're plugged in. If they are plugged in and they lean in, we're all going to succeed together. So don't just bring in people to the company and say, okay, great, they're at the company and flounder. EXP Family Tree. Who's in EXP Family Tree? Anybody know about that? Oh my gosh, every single one of you take out your phone after I talk. And go to Workplace and go find EXP Family Tree. Frank, not Frank, hi Frank. Rich Tomasini, Mitch Ryback, Hank Avink, and myself, we all came together. We're in 4 different lines. We have 4 big organizations. It's about influence, not ego. We're one company. It doesn't matter who your line is. We're all one family. We brought EXP Family Tree together where we collaborate. We do production calls every single day, and we have over 10,000 people organically in that group. We don't care what line you're in. We don't care if you don't have if you're an orphan or don't have a sponsor. We're all in this together. So join Family Tree, get engaged, plug in, show up. You are not going to fail. Okay? Create opportunities. Okay, so remember, people make choices for their reasons, not yours. And they're moving away from pain for the most part. Ask the questions, figure out where you can lock arms with them and be successful in their growth. So back to the opportunity cost. Are you guys thinking about what you need to say yes to or what you need to say no to or who you need to talk to in your business or in your agent community? Do y'all know who Rhea Mullis is?
Yes.
Yes? This is a few years ago. She's an 11-year-old out of Philippines. Very fast little girl. She ran the 400, 800, and 1500 and won gold. People told her she was crazy not to do this. What I love is the fearlessness of a child. And I want us to be fearless like children. She did not let them say, she did not take no for an answer. She was extremely poor, didn't have shoes. They told her she couldn't run in this, so she taped her feet. She even drew a little Nike swoosh. You see that? And she won gold. What happened is it opened up opportunities for her. Nike saw her, gave her all this gear. Not only that, but it also opened up opportunities for her community and the communities around her. And so Nike and some of the other bigger companies came in and they provided all these shoes and gear and access to these children that wouldn't have had that. If Rhea would have taken no for an answer and not said yes to an opportunity, it would have impacted her, but even more so, it would have impacted all the other people that she was able to reach because of it. So I tell my children this story all the time, and I'm always telling my kids these things, and I'm like, why am I not listening to my own advice? So I'm not going to admit that to them, but I'll admit it to y'all. So what if, I thought that those, James. What if I said no to the opportunity of EXP? What if I said no to the opportunity of serving my clients at a bigger level? I want to give you guys some personal stories just to let you know what's possible. I grew up in a very unique household. We had 140 foster children in 20 years. So, as you can imagine, we didn't have a lot. We had a lot of love to give. Right? I always joke, I can't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, spaghetti, or pancakes, but as long as that's not on the lunch menu, we are good today, y'all. But my mom and my stepdad, they had a lot of love to give, but they had nothing. And they worked in their 70s, almost 80s, because they have to, not because they want to. And I asked my parents, what would you do if you didn't have to work so hard? My niece passed away 2 years ago at the age of 5 from cancer. My mom said, and her name was Mackenzie, my mom said I would build a Mackenzie house to house single mothers and their children to give them a fresh start. My mom can't do that because she's working because she has to, not because she wants to. So because of EXP, I was able to pay off my parents' mortgage, okay? What's happened? Mackenzie House is now being formed and built in Green River, Wyoming, which is going to cascade and serve a huge population that wasn't possible. Thank you. It's a big deal. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, all these lives have been changed and you just never know that, right? My husband was with Dell Computer for 25 years. Our family was very fractured. He flew internationally all the time. And he was doing this because he had to. We had the benefits and we had the opportunity. He said, what else would I do? I said, well, you don't know your children. You don't have a relationship with them. Our family is fractured. This is not why we're building this. And I said, what if I retired you? And he said, what would I do? I said, you'd find your passion, you'd find your relationship with your children. And he said, well, I can't. I have the benefits. Don't give a listing agent an objection, by the way. I said, okay, well, we have health care. What could it look like if we compare our health care to what Dell Computer is providing? Would you be open to that? Ask the questions, right? And he said, sure. So we compared the two. EXP's health care was better than what Dell Computer was providing. Y'all, this is a huge opportunity that most people might not need, but there's a lot of people that do, and they just don't know about it. So I said, all right, what if I retire you? He was like, we're back to that. Yes. So as of May, he's been retired for 3 years. Now, I love my husband. He's my 5th child sometimes. And I told him the other day that I'm going to give him a Walmart greeter application if he doesn't find something to do. But he got his license in February just because of our EXP revenue share. But he has capped, and he's on his way to Icon. He's never looked at a contract. It's because I'm giving him all the business. But he's very proud of himself right now. So I'm like, okay. So financial freedom and time freedom is something we talk about in real estate. What happens, though, when you partner with EXP? What happens when you have stock and you have revenue share and all these other assets and things at your fingertips that we didn't have before? That's going to lead to radical contentment and radical generosity. So I want to encourage you as I finish up, James, before you pull me from the stage. Let's get radical, and I want you guys to remember a few things, okay? Success looks different for everyone in this room, okay? Being comfortable is the opposite of growth. I had to realize that the hard way. No is a full sentence. Tell my kids this all the time. What are you saying yes to that you need to be saying no to? That's getting in your way, that's a distraction. I want you guys to make a list of that and figure that out and make some changes in your lives. Comparison kills joy. And I say that to myself daily. And I don't want any of you to compare your chapter 1 to my chapter 20. I've been doing this differently, longer. That doesn't mean I'm better or right, but you can learn from me. I can learn from you, and together we climb and together we grow. So I want to thank you all for having me here in the DC area.